uploaded as it is now. But is there any topics that you do not want to speak to out of respect? Like, I don't want to trigger you or anything like that.
Trigger me. No.
You know what I mean? Upset you, anything like that.
No, I'm untriggerable.
I am only triggered when MCU fans make fun of my DCU movies. Like, don't talk crap about my Batman versus Superman. That's the only thing that triggers me. Like, you can talk about my divorce, anything you want, but as soon as you insult Batman versus Superman, I'm insulted.
Oh yeah, we had some bad news in the family not so long ago, and it's still kind of ongoing.
I saw the video. I'm sorry. My condolences.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's just one of those things. But I went onto TikTok one day, and people were, I saw the comments of people insulting me. And
on that video?
No, just on general videos.
Oh, okay.
But it made me feel so much better. So that's kind of, take the piss out of me, and I'm like, this is brilliant. I love it. I kind of swallow it up. So I made a few videos as and when I could, because it's not been too easy at the minute, so I've not made as many. But to get a few of the comments where they're kind of just outright hating on me, and I'm like, oh, get in my veins.
Yeah, I know. It helps especially during that moment. And real quick, cheers, my friend. So for those listening to the podcast, you go by Maddie or Matthew? I'll call you Maddie.
To be honest, it's Matthew when I'm in trouble.
Okay.
Or just Matt, really.
Matt.
To be honest.
Okay, Maddie, Matthew. There you go. Cheers. For the first time ever, I'm having my whiskey. By the way, I drink Slow and Low. This is like a rye whiskey, 84 proof. This is what I drink after like some days when you've had things kind of rough. I just sip on this and it just makes me feel better.
I like a bit of a whiskey. Some of them just gives you an absolutely terrible hangover, though. Which
I've gotten used to it. Like I'm not a beer man, so when you started mentioning beer, I don't know what like hops and the differences between pints and beers. I just know of a couple.
They get you hopping.
But to your point, again, my condolences for your loss. I lost my father back 6 months ago.
Ouch.
Yeah, he had 72 years old dementia, and it sucked, man. Yeah, it's like I don't know what's worse: losing somebody right away, or seeing them disappear slowly over time, and then they don't recognize you. The day my dad didn't recognize me, he just said, "Sir, can I help you? What are you doing in my house?" I'm like, "Oh, damn it!"
Yeah, that's
it sucked, dude. It sucked.
I think they're just as bad. It's like with my mum, it was just out of the blue.
Yeah,
it was
out of the blue, really. Okay.
Yeah, I had a phone call from my brother, and he was crying, and I just before I even said a word, I knew exactly what he was going to say. So it sucked. It was a bit of a shock to the system. But at the same time, you look at the flip side with your dad, and again, my condolences to you, because I know how painful it is. To watch them slip away like that. Okay, you might have the added benefit. It's not benefit, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, like the gift of knowing they're going, versus not knowing. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But to watch them deteriorate, I can only imagine just being just as painful. So
the last day I remember with him, I carried him like a baby, picking him up out of the wheelchair and putting him in his bed. Yeah. And then 2 days later, he passed, man. But yeah, it sucks, dude. And to your point, people online, it helps when you share that piece and they get offered condolences. But this was a time when another TikTok creator, I mentioned it before, Robbie Harvey, he stitched one of my videos and he took the context of my story completely 180 to favored his, mainly feminine and feminist based audience. And I had floods of hate coming at my channel that week. So my dad died. I'm off 2 days. I come back on TikTok and I'm like, what the fuck's all this hate? Everyone's hating on me. And people found out my dad died. People were saying, I'm glad your father died. All these horrible things. So that period was pretty dark for me. And I never let social media affect me that way. But that was a really tough couple of weeks, man.
People can be vile. And for someone to come along and twist something that sensitive, they'd be lucky if we met them face to face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope we meet one day so I can beat the shit out of you. Because I don't play that way, goddammit. I'm old school.
Yeah, but I am totally unsurprised that someone would take something, put a feminist twist upon it to rile up hate. And then especially the messages that you get. Because I've seen the messages that you get, and they pretend that, you know, they're angels.
Yeah.
But I've seen the messages that they've done. I see the actions they take, and I've gone into detail with it in my earlier videos, and I'm going to kind of readdress them again in the future. But I know what they get to, and they're the radicals. These are the crazies that follow a narrative that just want to hate and find an excuse. And I don't put up with the bullshit. I like to call it out.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to kind of get cracking and start making them look stupid again, because that's what they are. They're just repeating bullshit that they think is right because it sounds good, and then excusing why they're being hateful. Nah, fuck off. You're a bad human being. Deal with the consequences.
I 100% agree. And before we get to in that space, I want to introduce you real quick. Everybody, welcome to Rude Advice. I have a good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, this is actually the first time we've talked one-on-one, but we've been, I guess, collaborating and speaking to each other for a few months, maybe now. I appreciate his work.
Yeah.
So this is Matthew, everybody, and say hello to the people, sir.
Matthew, am I in trouble?
Sorry, Matthew for when you're in trouble, and Maddie or Matt when you're...
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll call you Matt. Matt's easier.
You say Matthew, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
I go by Rudy, but my real name is Rodolfo, which is Spanish for Rudy. But no one could ever say Rodolfo. Everyone says Rudolph, and I'm like, just call me Rudy, goddammit. So you can say
that's cool. I can say it. I can say Rudy, so that's fine.
But Mad Nice content is very similar in a sense, but you have dealt more in the feminist space. I know, like you speak against double standards. I have this written because I didn't know what the word meant. Egalitarian. Yes. I had to Google that, and that more or less means equal rights for both people, right? For everybody, right?
Yeah, I kind of care about everyone, but I think the narrative at the moment is quite disproportionate to hating upon fellas.
Yeah.
So I'll stand up for women when I see it. It's like, you know, I've called out a few big creators. Turtleneck emo. That was quite an achievement when we figured that guy out. But there's so much content on social media trying to excuse that hatred of men, and it's like, what's wrong with you all? Do you know what I mean? And I like to sit down. I like to read stuff and look at the facts and figures. So when I see someone spewing some nonsense,
hold on. Time the screen froze for like the past 10 seconds. So I guess you can just kind of rewind and go.
So basically, I ramble. So I was just saying that there's a narrative at the moment that's going on about hating men, and you know, I've got 2 young boys, and I'm like, you don't have to deal with this shit. You don't have to be a prick either, but you don't have to accept this bullshit that's being said about you just because of your gender. It's ridiculous. And that's kind of what I kind of aim for with my content. Although I do like to be a bit cheeky sometimes. I say sometimes. I do like to kind of poke the bear a little bit, just to kind of encourage a bit of discourse, bit of conversation. So when people stitch me and they go, "Oh, you're just a bastard," you know, give me. I don't know if you can swear on it. Can you swear on it?
Cuss all you want. Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, fucking brilliant! Right. So when they call me all the names under the sun, I love it. I'm like, yeah, come on, let's have a discussion. And they always end up blocking me because I just stick with.
Stick with it.
And the narrative can't really beat facts. But I noticed the pattern that they do. They will literally change everything possible and reword everything possible to try and win every discussion with you.
Yeah.
And I've become such a fucking expert of it now that I end up in people's comment sections just destroying people.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
And then it's like, well, misogyny. I'm like, no, it's just you're wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, deal with it. But I also get people trying to, you know, tag me in I've had tags where I've been tagged into feminist content, and the woman that is speaking has been absolutely spot on, absolutely correct. I'm like, and they're thinking they're trying to, you know, told you so. I'm like, no, I agree with her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with her because I want to disagree with her. I'll agree with her because what she's saying is absolutely fucking right. What's your point?
Yeah, it's funny how, like you said, I've seen a couple of your videos, and I remember you had one where there's feminists and they're cool, and then there's the extreme version of them, which is I feel that you and I have really encountered a lot of. And it's a shame to say, but I know that when you speak on content like that, and you don't preach hate, you speak logical, common reasoning, which I love what you do. But it's a shame that I've seen you get banned. I don't know how many times now have you been banned on TikTok?
If over a course of 2-week period, 3, 4, 5 times.
Amazing.
So three accounts just all went within 24 hours. 2 come back, they got banned again. And then after about 4 or 5 months, they just randomly give me my main account back. But I was already building on
another one, yeah,
my new one. But yeah, I've not had a violation in ages now.
Well, that's good.
Really peculiar. So I need to start making a bit more content. But I get people trying to kind of report me videos. They're unsuccessful now. For some reason, TikTok is I don't know, helping me. It feels like they're helping me.
It's gotten better for me because I know, like, I can piss off guys left and right. Like, I have a couple of videos on the Passport Bros movement, which, you know, if that's their thing, cool. But I'm just speaking my 2 cents on it. Yeah. I can piss off guys left and right. And I know they'll just make a comment and move on. But whenever I speak to any topics relating to women, that's when I get banned. So I find it funny. Anytime it's a female related topic is when I get banned. And I've been banned on TikTok since I started 6 times. But usually the ban has only been about a week and I get my account back. But it's been a frustrating process because, again, it's supposed to be a free speech platform. We understand the rules. None of us preach hate. We're just preaching a perspective like, hey, this is what we think. Yeah. That doesn't mean we're dismissing your point, but hey, we're coming from a logical point of view. And to get banned, it's been frustrating at times where I just wanted to give up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get that. It's there was a point where I nearly did. And then I kind of made a video kind of pointing the situation out, and then everyone basically commented and wouldn't let me give up. So I was like, you know what? Let's crack on, because apparently people who watch, and I always say to everyone, if you can say something that helps one person, do you know what I mean? You've got to do it. And that was the only reason I kind of cracked on. Because a lot of people were saying, you know, stuff that you've talked about has helped me feel like I am not such a bad person that, you know, because and that's what I was getting. Lots of men thinking that they should hate themselves. I'm like, no, you know, it doesn't help. So I cracked on, but I get where you're coming from. The thing is, I've called out dudes. Although I've called out dudes. I've called out Andrew Tate for stuff he says. I've called out Fresh and Fit for some of the stuff they said. There's a few other creators on this app that have said something really weird. There was a dating coach with like 500,000 followers who basically says if the woman doesn't give you a bit of jiggy, take it from them. And I
oh my God.
Yeah, wow. It's still on my main account somewhere. So I laid into him. Turtleneck Emo, I done a bit of research, found out stuff about him, called him out, all supported. But there's one guy, every time I do a video about this one guy who's a feminist creator who has the most sketchiest background that you could ever imagine, to the point that he's actually written a blog called Tales of a Sexual Predator.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Even the fact he's writing something with that title, that screams flags, man. Come on. That's insane. He's
reformed, but his whole platform is just attacking men on behalf of feminists. And I'm like, no. Yeah. But he tries to hide his past, and he keeps... Every new account that I get, because I've obviously gone through a few now, 4, blocks me instantly every single time. Boom. And every single video I do of him, mass reported. Yeah. So it's almost as if, like, ladies... This guy's preaching to be a feminist. He's actually a real big danger. No, because he says what we like. We don't care. We're getting you reported because we like him. But he's done really bad stuff. No, doesn't matter. His narrative is exactly what we agree with. We don't mind about his past. But anyone else on the planet, if you turn around and said, But let's use Tate for an example. And I don't like the guy. You know, he does say a lot of things that you can agree with, but there's also a lot of extremes that are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when he's done stuff in the past, that was a weapon. So what's the difference?
Exactly.
Between Tate and a guy who has committed multiple SA.
Yeah, I totally get it. And
Baffles me.
when it comes to Tate and like the Fresh and Fit podcast, I see them and I see a gimmick and I see entertainment, because I look at Tate and I go, oh, when I first saw him, my first impression was, who's this guy who stole The Rock's gimmick? He's just in sunglasses and being loud and authoritative with clever takes. I'm like, that's The Rock. That's all it is. It's a character. So I saw what he was doing and I got the hustle. If you look at like Fresh and Fit, they're very loud and like what's your body count? Tell us your body count. Like, all these stupid things, but it's just entertainment. And I hate the fact that it's actually influencing a lot of young men thinking that's how a man should speak. And, you know, and that's the drive they should pursue to look like and be. And I just hate all the rhetoric where it's like, oh, you have to be 6 foot, you have to have money and Bugattis, all this bullshit. You don't need any of that. It'd be nice. I mean, if you can do that, great. But if you're gaining all that stuff just to attract women, then you're in a lost place. Because why would you want a woman who would only want you for those things?
That's the beauty of it. And that's what we got to kind of ram down people's throats a little bit. Because the sad fact is, Rudy, if you're a man with a lot of money, what do you attract lots of?
Thieves, people you don't trust, and women.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, it does. It's money does, you know, work like a magnet. And there's dudes that will think that money is all they need to get a woman, and there's women that will go, I only need a man. You know, I only want a man for his money. You know, and we've got to kind of put the logical side in it and just say, look, there's people in the middle. There isn't a materialistic dickhead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we got, you know, we kind of got to push forward. But you're always going to get them. But the sad reality is, okay, so even Tate is plastered around over the internet as the world's biggest misogynist, a danger to ladies. Does it stop him from getting the ladies?
Probably not.
No,
Probably
of
not.
course it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about his personal life. I just know rumors, and I know that's not enough to speak on a podcast because I don't want to, you know. I don't like talking about things I don't know nothing about, but I know about just the viral shit that has kind of.
Yeah. I'm just talking about him quite loosely to kind of give an example as a comparison between a male feminist who's done really dodgy stuff being okay, but that guy where there's no actual convictions yet, that, you know, we just don't like him because it's the words that come out of your mouth that makes a massive difference.
Absolutely.
But yeah. I don't know enough about him. I don't really give a monkeys, but I care about this dude that is a risk.
Send me his name after the podcast. I want to go do some research and find out who this guy is.
You might have seen him. I could say 3 words. You might recognize it.
Okay.
This is bacon.
I don't know it. I'll
send you it then.
Okay.
I'll send you it.
But I like how you also talk about double standards, and let's kind of call double standard out, like Tate and everybody. He's canceled on all platforms and speaking what he does. But then you have on the opposite side here on TikTok, you know, that laughing Drew Affello, Drew Affello, the one who laughs and insults men, and a few others. Carrie Khaleesi, I believe her name is. She's, you know, stitched a few of my videos. And those are solely just, we hate men. Men are shit. Here's why. Women rule. And they're celebrated. They're blue check mark, and they're at like 8 million followers, and there's no community guidelines on any of the videos when they're clearly violating them, insulting physical appearances and making threats. And that double standard on the internet, sometimes it drives me crazy because, again, you have creators like you and I and others, you know, there's Davik and others who are like sharing wonderful advice that can truly help you, but it's the toxic ones, as you mentioned, with that wonderful display here. The ones in the middle don't get the attention, but the ones on the outside are the ones that go viral or banned. It's insane.
Yes. It's, Drew misses sit on the toilet and giggle, is what she does.
Yes. Yeah.
I swear every video she's just in that bathroom. I don't know whether it's a soundproof cubicle or what, I don't know, but... her whole account is just body shaming.
That's all she's doing.
And that is it. And, you know, she goes, oh, it's comedy. It's funny. It's not, is it? Because you're being the person that you actually hate others being. So you are just being a hypocrite. And that's the way I view her.
Yeah.
Kaylee Crest, I like her. She's fun. I've stitched a couple of her videos, and
just a couple of mine. And I asked her, let's do a live debate and talk this out, and she never answered. So like, fuck you.
No, she won't. Yeah. She won't.
Like, fuck you.
I stitched one of her videos and got more likes and views on the stitch that I did of one of hers. And she made a follow-up video to explain herself further, which I've never seen her do before. That was a proud moment. And then you got Big Bro Bear. He's blocked me a couple of times.
Don't know the guy. He's a male feminist?
Yeah. He's very anti-straight men. At the same time as being very feminist. He does good content. But there's other content that's just like, what's wrong with you? You might have seen a recent one of his where he's saying, why don't men wear wedding bands? Is it because women are the property? And then he does this whole spiel of trying to explain it when it's quite simple. Women don't buy men wedding bands. Do you know what I mean? It's not a sought after thing. So they don't, you know, But yeah, he made a whole spiel to kind of excuse it. 100,000 likes, happy days. He's like going, yeah, I'm getting all my money. Yeah. And they're just talking shit. And everyone in the comments is just going, yeah, you're right, men are shit. And it's like, well, you know, it's boring. But he likes to block me a lot.
Yeah. I've actually blocked Kaylee or whatever her name is and Drew. I actually filtered my comments with their names. So if anybody tries to tag them, it's filtered away. And I just block that person. It's just like... I don't need that because, again, the whole experience of Robbie Harvey when he stitched my video, like I said, as of right now, I'm not going to kid you, Matt. There's like 4 million views on TikTok on his video, and then another 3 million on Kaylee's, and then on Facebook, another 9. So that's over 12, 13 million people who hate me. You're gonna
have to send me the videos that they've made because
I'll send it to you. But it's insane how much. I don't think it did damage, but I actually got a lot of publicity. I can't even say the word publicity. And, you know, like they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So I had a lot of attention and drew my name. But it's funny how I had people I graduated from high school with back in 1995 who were sending me these videos like, dude, is this you? What happened? And I haven't heard of these people like in like 15, 20 years where they're sending me clips. So that was pretty bad. And why'd I get on that point? Yeah, I just don't like those influencers because you and I have been doing this long enough to understand that, you know, hate's easy to sell. You know, you can say something anti-man, anti-woman, you can get a bunch of followers. And I don't like people that dwell in that hate space and like to blame the others or play the victim. And there's enough of that. There's enough hate in this world with, you know, political, gender, all types of bullshit, man. And I don't want anything to do with that. It's not my cup of tea.
Everyone likes to kind of bully or generate hate. And the big creators, they don't have any responsibility in protecting the people. So with my content, multiple times I've said, attack the opinion, not the person.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, and said, that's literally how you do it. But the big creators, they don't give a fuck.
No.
They'll shine the camera in their own face, go off on a little rant for a bit. Most of it's a lot of bollocks. And they'll put the phone down and go, yeah, everyone will like it because, you know, it sounds good. And this is the problem with this day and age. People like stuff because it sounds good, not because it's true. And I've started using facts don't care about your feelings a lot more because I'm just watching people spout so much bullshit. But some of the creators, they don't care. They don't have the responsibility. And it's ironic when they call out other creators for not checking videos, you know, in depth or comments and stuff like that when they're not doing it themselves.
I agree.
And it's like...
It speaks a lot to a person's character. Like, I've made a lot of mistakes on TikTok. I'm like stitching videos and being very reactive. And then, you know, I actually go back and look at a couple of that creators' videos like, oh, shit, they're not like that. That was just something I just felt when I heard that video. So I'm very cautious with who I stitch and what I say afterwards because I don't want to put anybody in the position I was last summer where they're just getting bombarded with hate. And there was this one video where I stitched it and said, hey, you know, women shouldn't be talking about their man like this in front of like their family. It was a guy who played a prank. I don't know if you saw the video. This woman, they were doing a gender reveal. And the guy act like he let go of the balloon and it went in the air, and she was just yelling at her family and friends. You see how this is how stupid he is. I told you how stupid. Oh my God, I can't stand him. But he brings the other balloon and hey, it's a joke. And I said, don't make fun of him. Like, respect your spouse is what I said was the point of the video. That video got 1 million views. And the friend of the husband in that video is like, dude, can you take it down? She's pregnant and they're really freaking out right now. She's going through a lot of stress, and it would just be better if people just forgot about it. Can you take it down? And I'm like, you know what? Sure. My apologies. Yeah. You guys, good luck. Lessons learned. But yeah, let me go take it down. And I took it down because I responded because I don't want any more, I guess, negative energy or affect them anymore. I mean, I think she knew she made a mistake. She learned her lesson. But me as a creator, I could have ignored that and said, fuck you. I'm getting 1 million views. You know, I'm getting money. I could have ignored that and just went about my way. But like, no, that human side of me is like, no, I'll take it down. And I'm sorry.
So your morals kicked in, and your compassion and your empathy.
I can't lose that. We can't lose that, man. We can't.
No, you can't. You can't lose it. And one thing you got to be, you know, like you said, you've gone through 13 million views of people just hating you, and that could very easily turn you into a hateful person. They could have created a monster. But like you said, you can't lose it. No matter how much shit people throw at you or encourage you to turn to the dark side, you can't lose it. And compassion and empathy is something that is absolutely lacking in today's day and age. And I've done the same. I've stitched someone and in my early days, and this is why I check the videos quite in detail. It's like I'll get tagged in the video and I'm like, this looks awful. And then I check their other videos and then the comments and stuff like that. And then I'm like, yeah, no, they are awful. Or are they just taking the piss? That's now quite funny. Do you know what I mean? And I've done that. I'm like, it's actually funny. They're they're comedy kind of stuff. So don't worry about it. But in the early days, I've done stitches and I've looked back on and I thought, now I can't keep that up because I didn't word it right. Or and in the early days, my wording was sometimes off. You know, I still do it today. I still just whack the phone up. I don't think about what I'm going to say. I just cut the video up and then just do video.
What? This whole time I thought you wrote a script. It's so well thought out and spoken well. I'm like, this guy writes scripts. You're telling me you're just shooting from the hip? You're lying.
It is all from the hip. The only scripts I've ever done is when I'm doing 2 characters.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And that's it. And that's literally it. And even half the time when I'm doing that, I go well off it. So I could quite happily sit here and say I've done 3 scripts in my whole TikTok life. Where I've had multiple characters. But yeah, no, I set the phone up and I start shooting. I just start speaking shit, and for some reason people watch it. But I like to kind of think from raw. So if I'm wrong, I can learn, and if I'm right, it helps others. But it comes from a raw, honest place, as opposed to how can I destroy these people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't be bothered to do that. I know people write scripts and they're very good at it, and they're a bit more, they can write scripts and still be natural with it. Do you know what I mean? I also know a few creators that aren't. But, I'd rather get myself into trouble by saying something wrong. And I'm quite cautious about what I say.
Me too.
So when I do shoot from the hip in the early days, I used to get the wording wrong or get my message across not quite right. And fuck me, did I get told? So you learn from it and you adapt and you grow. And but now my editing's a little bit better, so I don't look like much of a twat. So I'm quite...
Well, you get better as you go. And let me ask you this. So let me ask, I guess it's a 2-part question. How has TikTok changed your life, and what were you doing before? Like, how did this all happen?
Right. How's it changed my life? It hasn't. It's a lovely hobby, and people have found stuff I said to be helpful. So happy days. Although, to be fair, there's a men's mental health charity that reached out, who I'm helping to grow at the moment, and being in the position that I randomly managed to get myself put into, it enabled me to help this wonderful charity grow. So to me,
Awesome.
that's like, wow, that's fantastic. You know, I'm proud of that. But to me, it's like, you know, it's a hobby. It's kind of nice, and it's something I'm genuinely passionate about. The stuff that I talk about, you know, it's not a case of, I'll make 3 videos a day, or I'll try and get viral videos. Because if I want to make a viral video, I can make a viral video.
It's pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, just
so
topic,
simple,
triggering words, things like that, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want to talk about stuff that I feel about. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I aim at. So it's not changed me life.
Okay.
I get people taking the piss going, it's Matt the celebrity. I'm like, fuck off.
Have you been recognized outside in public yet?
No, I've been recognised in public a couple of times. But like, I drop into people's lives and they're like, oh, it's a celebrity. I'm like, I am a dickhead with a camera phone.
Exactly.
Celebrity my ass.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot that points the camera to himself and acts a prat. I just know some random stuff here and there. But other, yeah, it's not really changed my life at all. But
okay.
what was the other question?
Like, what were you doing before TikTok? Like, how did you arrive here? But from your point of view, like your history, I guess. What were you doing before? Because I think you were married, right? Or you were in a relationship?
No. Okay, so yeah, I was in a relationship with Satan. And,
Lucifer herself, huh?
Yeah, I mean, genuinely now, whoever's running hell at the moment, they're just keeping the seat warm for her. That's their job right now. That's
okay.
Yeah, she was a bit of a nasty piece of work, but I was quite isolated during a period. So I spoke about stuff on Twitter. I had no one else to talk to. She isolated me from my friends and my family, and she continued to do that, or tried to do that, for years after we broke up. So Twitter was kind of my outlet. And then one day I put up a tweet saying there's some women on Twitter that bait men just so they can attack them, you know. So be careful. And loads of people, bearing in mind at this time I considered myself as a feminist. Tweets I had put out had been telling men to look out for women, blah 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 blah. And then these people arrived going, men do this, men do that, men do the other. And I was like, I never said they didn't. And then they weaponized a news story. It was a lady called Sarah. She was sadly murdered by a police officer in London. And it was the trial week. I was unaware. But that's how they twisted it to go, you've said this on this week. I was like, I had no idea. So I even apologised. I said, if my time is wrong, sorry, but that's not what I meant. I'm on about, you know, I don't watch the news because mental health. Don't like watching the news. It's all miserable as shit. So I don't watch TV. It's all Netflix and stuff. So they kind of latched on to this tweet, and it kind of spread amongst their little
that corner.
hornet's nest. And then, like, more and more of them attacking me, calling me this, that, and the other. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I've said something which is factually true, and now you're all trying to vilify me. And it got to the point where one of them tweeted out to 350,000 followers that I doxed her, when in fact, A, that never happened. I just shared the tweet of her calling me names. And then, then they went and doxed me. So I was like, what the fuck? So there was this big group of people, absolute nasty, vile bunch of people, and I've watched them. They went on for a whole year. It was
an entire year on Twitter.
Over a year, yeah. I still get random anonymous messages from people, and I'm like, I don't give a shit anymore. But yeah, it went on for an entire year, and it was vicious. The lies that they told, the kind of things that they told. But when it first kicked off, and I was thinking, what the fuck's going on? They're saying shit that isn't true, blah, blah, blah. I come onto TikTok, and I had 46 followers, and I come onto TikTok, and I went, do you know what?
Yeah.
One video blew up, and then I just kept talking about shit that they've done, but I'm kind of put it into my videos, and that's kind of what helped me grow. I've just basically told them the stuff that I've experienced. Basically, I've made videos of explaining the stuff that people have put me through.
Wow.
And they're like, "Oh, feminism's not bad." Well, the bit feminism I've seen is fucking awful. So I'm going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I end up on TikTok, and that's kind of when, where I've kind of
we're at now. Okay.
Developed from. Yeah.
Wow.
So I do talk a lot.
And that's perfectly fine. You have the voice for it. You ought to do like an ASMR channel.
What's an ASMR channel?
You know those women that talk quiet and drop the mic and do things like that.
Oh, them! I've seen them. They're weird.
Well, you got the voice for it. You got the calming voice for it. I'm just saying maybe there's a market there that you haven't captured yet.
But what are they doing?
They're just talking quietly.
It's like, I'm just.
That's all they're doing.
But the thing is, why are they stroking it?
No. They're not stroking it. They're just kind of like tapping it. It's the sounds. It's the sound.
Rudy. Hi, Rudy. How are you today? I hope you're having the most wonderful time. Yes.
Oh, God.
Please.
You got me all red here. Oh, hold on. Oh, my God. That's funny. It needs work. It needs work, kid. It needs work.
I'm stroking. Maybe if I tap it, it's still the same size, Rudy.
It's supposed to relax you, not like give you. I don't know. It needs work. I think you have a market there that you haven't captured, my friend. So you got to look into it. So again, if you don't mind me asking, you're out of this relationship, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
Were you married? Were you just together?
We're together. Effectively, she was my roommate.
Okay, your roommate. You were together for a while, and it was just a bad.
15 years.
Wow.
And then the control and stuff snuck up on me. I didn't even realise until about a year. Well, between 9 months and a year afterwards, that I got my sister involved to be third party to pick up the children. And then my sister started learning about the stuff that I'd gone through, and she was like, "She's abused the shit out of you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" Because in my mind was like just a case of try and fight for the family. That was it. That was my mentality.
Are you a dad? You have kids?
Yeah, I got 2 kids.
Oh, cool. I got 3. That's awesome. I didn't know that, man. Cool. How old?
One's about to be 8, and the other one is 13 going on 30.
Oh, God. Good. Yeah. I have a 19-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 3-month-old upstairs. So
a 3-month-old.
A 3-month-old at 45. Yeah.
You're 45 and you got a 3-month-old.
Yep.
How do you deal with sleep?
To be totally honest, my love witch, my fiance, she's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. She's still on leave. But on weekends, I do help. I help during the day, and I take the first shift until like maybe 2 or 3, and then she gets the rest. But it's hard, man. When I was a young man, it wasn't that hard, but as an older man, it's kind of tough. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. I love him, man. I always dreamt that I was supposed to have another kid. I had a vasectomy plan twice, and I canceled it. And I'm like, no, I think I'm supposed to have another boy. I don't know why. I don't know with who. I don't want kids, but I'm supposed to have another boy. And 3 years later, I have a boy. So
3 boys?
I have 2 boys and 1 girl.
Okay.
So now
you got a good mix as a father to.
Yeah, I got a good mix, and that's kind of like I guess you and I can relate more now with now that I know that, because again, the content you put out there. I know my daughter's 19. I kind of see the world through her eyes, right? And then I see my son, so I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not a male feminist. I'm not toxic masculine guy. No, I'm a common sense guy, because I just want the world a better place, and that's why I put the content out there, and I kind of go back and forth because I see the world through both of their eyes. But
and that doesn't align with anyone's views. They'll just attack you for it. So just
exactly. And I've been attacked by both. So you had a couple of children with this roommate, right? And that's how it went.
Yeah, with Satan, yeah.
With Satan, okay. Offspring from Satan, okay.
2 kids. 2 boys, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because I just put a video out last night about co-parenting, and a lot of people are saying it's co-parent. Like, I'm explaining like my situation, how it's easy. We put the kids first, etc. But a lot of the women in the comments are saying that it's not easy when you're dealing with a psychopath or narcissist, somebody who's abusive and somebody who's been hurting you in the past. It's not easy And I asked the question because I truthfully want to know, like, well, how does one end up in that situation? Didn't you see the red flags? Didn't you see the character traits? Did you ignore them? And the only way I can relate to that is I was in one toxic relationship when I was single, and I saw the good side of her the first 3 months, and then she turned on me and became this evil bitch, a toxic person, which was the real person, the really who she is. And I stayed longer than I should have because I thought that good person was inside somewhere. I wanted to fix her. I will never do that shit again. Hope. How did that situation end up? I'm pretty sure she wasn't evil at first, but how did you end up finding yourself in that situation?
It was kind of. It was over a gradual period of time. Gaslighting is something that you don't always notice.
Yeah.
I never in a million years would have ever said or possibly prepared myself to be in a position where, I might be abused. So I was in a relationship where it was happening and I was completely unaware. Now, for someone who's like been reading psychology books since the age of 15 and being fascinated with mental health and stuff like that, it was kind of a shock to me too. But when I kind of look back on it after speaking to my sister, I'm like, fuck, that was bad.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And like you said, once you've done it once, you won't do it again. Mm-hmm. So if someone does it a second time, if someone allows it to continue a second time, then I'll say to them, look, you're putting this upon yourself here a little bit. You're not protecting yourself. Get the fuck out of there. Because if you don't, you're going to have consequences that you're not going to like.
Yeah.
You've got to learn from your experiences. That's literally what being a human is. Mm-hmm. But I can absolutely understand, and I've got most of my friendship groups are women. I've always grown up, and the majority of my friends have always been women, and I've seen them go through the same thing. That it was so gradual that you didn't understand, and then it's just kind of you're just there. You just end up there. Do you know what I mean? And it's really weird. But I remember, I can give you one example. And this didn't set off alarm bells. When it was her time to go to work and I was on a day off work, and then I took the kids to school, I dropped her off to work, I'd go back to the house, I would clean, I would then pick up the kids from school, after doing the shopping and stuff, then pick her up from work. And every time I picked her up from work, I was always nervous. Every single time.
Oh, wow.
Because the drive home, I was panicking of what she would find in the house that I didn't do properly. And she would nitpick the smallest things, and I felt like shit for it.
Wow.
And at the time, I was thinking to myself, well, I need to do better. When in reality, she was a see you next Tuesday. So, it was complete eggshells, complete gaslighting, complete abuse. The character assassination which she attempted afterwards was well impressive. She also went to the solicitors because I says any interaction that you and I have face to face, I'm going to record it on a voice recorder. Mm-hmm. She then went to the solicitors to write a letter to me to make sure and request that I didn't record any interactions with her. How the fuck do they not see that as a red flag?
Yeah. How can they not? That's odd.
Yeah, I've still got the letter in my email.
Wow.
Please don't record what I say and do to you because I don't like it. There's a reason why I want to fucking record it, you daft cow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that was after a lot of support from my sister, who kind of made me aware of the manipulation. Mm-hmm. I've brought the tone down now, haven't I?
Yeah.
But it's a shitty time. And, when we can kind of prep other people to kind of identify it, not accept it, walk away from this bullshit, then... Because I know what it's like. I don't want anyone to go through whatever I've ever experienced. I'd rather my pain be...
your own,
a tool for someone else to escape it and not go through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But then apparently that's misogyny. So
bullshit. Everybody who says that, no, they're full of shit. No, that's not misogyny. That's your truth and that's your story, man. I mean,
exactly. Well, even with that, people call it misogyny. It's like, well, I'm speaking my truth, my example, my viewpoints, my experiences. You can call it whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it any less true. So,
yeah, it's your truth. Anybody to deny that or call it misogyny, those type of people, they can go fuck themselves. I'll repeat that again. Yes. They can go fuck themselves. Anybody who's been through that type of trauma and that type of experience, 15 years worth, they've got a story to tell, and there's lessons there, man. Come on, don't be dismissive.
I can't say she was bad for 15 years. I'd say it was the last, say 2 to 3 years.
That's when it got bad.
She was, accusing me of cheating, but doing someone else.
Yeah, it's always the one doing it that's always blaming the other. Yeah.
It's my favourite one, just a random one to throw in there. You'll love this. While she was cheating, she would wake up in the morning and say, I had a dream about you last night. You slept with someone else. And then she burst out crying, got my sympathy and all that lot. Made me feel guilty whilst.
Yeah.
So the level of effort was extreme. Fair play to her, though. She's done a good job.
So this all happened when was the last time it's obviously you're still interacting with her because you have children, right? But has it gotten better? Are you in a better place now?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's okay. I respond very little, only when it's required, when it's needed. She tried to be a dick once or twice in the last year or so. I just don't have the time or the. There you go.
Don't give them a bit of your energy at all.
Yeah, I know what it's like. Sorry, you've moved on, and I'm not your target anymore. Fuck off. Go and take it out on the new guy.
Yeah. Good luck.
He's you're not my issue. Bug off. But anything about the kids is always a response or any request.
Of course, without question. Let me ask you this: a friend of mine, a good friend of mine that I've known since high school, late 90s, he meets a woman. And then all of a sudden he disappears. And this guy was supposed to be the best man at my wedding. And he just disappeared. He met a woman. He fell in love and he was gone. He had a kid. He got her pregnant the first year. And then 20 years later, he shows up and says, I got divorced. And he tells me his story, how she was very controlling, very similar to your Satan situation. And she was very abusive. He told a story at one time she just didn't give a shit about him. She got a mallet and hit him when he was walking away in back of the head. He fell down face first, and he said he couldn't move his legs for about 5 minutes, and he just saw her step over his body and walk out the door. And then he was barely got the function of his extremities back, and he got up, and I'm like, why didn't you fucking call the police, man? He was like, they wouldn't believe me. Did you ever have a moment like that, Matt, where you were in a situation where, like, I need to call the authorities? But did you ever have that feeling that they wouldn't believe you?
I spoke to someone, and the stuff she was doing, she could have ended up a maximum of 5 years in jail.
Yeah,
it was that bad. But I spoke to them, and they were, and they said the words to me. Do you want your kids to lose their mother to go into jail?
This is the police telling you this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to lose either way. I can send their mum to jail for exactly what she's done, and then the kids will resent me for it. Or I can just let her get away with it and just accuse me of being awful.
Fuck.
It sucks, doesn't it?
It sucks, yeah.
Yeah, it's a dilemma, though, isn't it? She deserved to go for jail for what she'd done. It was that bad. But, the kids are always important. But and even more, but she should have gone to, she should have been held accountable for what she'd done. But what can you do? Because if I'd have sent her to jail, I would have been the bad guy.
Yeah, like, that's her mother, all this other things. But but it's again to your content. It's that double standard where men can't be victims. But I'm glad a lot of men like you, my friend, and others all over social media are like sharing their stories because it is present. It is there, either emotional or physical in some cases, and it's sad that a lot of authorities and I guess the culture, people like, you can't handle your wife, dude. What's up with that, man? You can't do that? Come on, you're not a man. We'll face that rhetoric when we confess. And another story, I had a friend of mine who was a police officer in Houston, and a lot of these guys end up with toxic women. Like, it's insane, and they know, like, I can take your badge, bitch. If you cheat on me or do something. And there was this one situation where a cop was he went to go pick up his daughter, and there's cameras all over the house. She didn't know this, and she starts attacking him. And he's just like, he's doing this the whole time, just like, I'm not touching her, let me go. And finally he pushed her and she started scratching herself and just showing that she was getting injured. He calls the police. They see her. She's crying, oh, he hit me. They handcuff him. And he's like, sir, I'm an officer. I have cameras. Go look at the video right here. And they saw the video and they arrested her instead. It's scary, the power of a word versus word. Like a woman's word over a man's when it comes to that situation is unfair. And that's scary for me.
It's very much that the man is guilty before proven innocent, whether it be in the court of law against a woman's word or even in public court of opinion. And even if the man is proven innocent, he's still got that reputation. Mm-hmm. You cannot do that to a woman. You cannot accuse a woman of stuff and have it hang over her head for the rest of her life. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure it's been done somewhere, but it's just rarer than rocking horse poo.
Yeah.
But in terms of what you said earlier as well, it's like you'll have fellas saying, you know, you're going to let your wife deal with you like that, and then you'll have women then saying, what did you do to deserve it? Yep. And that's the one that bugs me, is what did you do to deserve it? I'm like,
that hurts. That hurts just hearing that, man. Me? Oh God.
Yeah, I see that a lot on social media, and the amount of times I'm like, chill. Relax.
Just walk away. Just walk away. It's like, I don't know if you recall, like one of my first viral videos, I just didn't know, nobody was watching, but I admitted that I cheated in my marriage. And that's kind of like how I got notoriety. But people started saying, oh, he's not like blaming her. He's taking accountability. So I owned up to my mistakes. But I remember getting the flack. It's crazy. And Emily and I talked about this when she was my guest on my podcast. It's amazing how accusing a man of cheating is almost worse than murder on social media because they just attack you. There's no reason. You're not man enough. You should have left, blah, blah, blah. But just like you said, but when a woman cheats, what wasn't he doing that you needed?
Yep.
And I saw that firsthand, and it's like, really? Is that what we're doing here? Fuck it. I don't give a shit.
I had it myself. I had messages from Satan's friends saying, you know, you should have tried harder. You should have been a better person. You should have. I'm like, I didn't fuck up here. I was doing everything. I was doing everything right. You know what I mean? It's like not much more else I could do unless she communicated with me. But you're telling me I'm wrong for her cheating? Yeah, fuck. Do you know what I mean? And that narrative, you see it a lot on social media, you know. You
do.
And there's a couple of viral videos. It's like, if he's cheated, it's because he's a pig. And if a woman cheats, it's because he's not done everything right. You see it so blatantly in the obvious.
And you know who else they never call out? They never call out the woman who knew the guy was married. They never call out the homewrecker.
Yeah, I got a friend, Lady J. What'd she say on one? There was a lady saying, why would I give attention to a man who lives with his mum? And the stitch was instantly accurate. And it was beautiful, right? Well, that's strange because you'll give a man attention if he lives with his wife. And I was just like, that's just...
And they're never called out. They're never shamed like the man is.
No.
That's another, I guess, double standard that's out there, but it pisses me off. There's so many out there. I generally don't pay attention to them because if I let it get to me, you know, if I actually don't read the comments anymore. Now that I have my son, I was so involved, you know, because I've never had that type of attention on anything I've done on social media. And I remember just I got to answer every question. I got to respond to every comment. And I was doing that for a while. And it got to the point where I was just on TikTok maybe 40 hours a week. And I'm like, this is stupid.
You just can't do it.
So now I upload videos and I answer maybe a couple comments, but I'll log off on weekends. I have to manage that, but it's insane how that can be addicting at times. Just like to respond to that.
It is. I like responding to the angry ones, or the ones that try and prove me wrong. And I just ask them questions, and they rile themselves up. It's my form of entertainment.
Yeah. Are you like other creators? I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes you get immune to. You can have 50 praising comments like you're amazing, you're the best. And then there's that one comment that says you're a son of a bitch, and then you're something, and you have to respond to that one. And that one negative comment outweighs the 50 great ones that you got, and you have to respond to that one. Are you like that?
Sort of. I'm a bit more sadistic with it. I'm like, come on, if you want to insult me, be better at it. Type of, That's kind of my mentality. And I've had people say to me, you wouldn't cope if I was mean to you. And I'm just thinking, fucking try it. Please try it. You'll lose. But yeah, no, I like that banter. I like that exchange. And, I see people that will try and speak to you nicely and try and convert you. And then as soon as they don't win or... they'll just be aggressive and nasty, but I kind of like that exchange. So people who praise you, I don't want smoke blowing up my ass. As much as I appreciate them, I don't want the smoke blowing up my ass. So I kind of focus on the comments that are trying to challenge me a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
I get you. You're a debater. You like debating. I can see that.
I'm a master debater. Two-handed with me.
Wink,
phone.
wink. Yeah. That was good. Before we run out of time, I got one last topic I wanted to talk to you about, and that's dating.
Yeah.
That's dating. Good old dating. Let me ask you this, Matt. Do nice guys finish last?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
Because the nice guys won't step forward like the not nice guys.
Okay.
That's the simplest view. The nice guys will be more appreciative of women and their requests of staying the fuck away. So they won't put themselves in the position that, say, a guy who would be calling himself a nice guy, which isn't a nice guy, it's a manipulator.
Yeah.
He will tell 30 women that he's the nice guy, and then the numbers game, he will end up with one who believes it. And then the nice guys are just like, well, can someone just have a discussion? But there is a kind of an instinct with men and women that there is an instinct within a lot of women where they do like the dickhead.
I will rebuttal to that, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah. I'm not saying all women, or I'm not saying most. I'm saying
I get what you're saying.
A lot of women, and I've seen these on TikTok, where people are going. A few examples. If he's not sleeping with loads of women, why should I bother with him?
Yeah. Yep.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Or the fact that, a few people have pointed out where their exes were psychopaths, they were nasty, they were narcissistic, they were horrible, they was abusive, they treated them like less than average, but they spent 5 years with them.
Trying to maybe change them or fix them or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they're still talking about them down the line. And there's multiple videos that kind of give this idea that there are women that, and I think it's a self-confidence thing. I think that, there's a lot of women out there that don't think they can get the nice guy, and then there's a lot of nice guys that don't think they can get the women. So I think there's a kind of, again, middle area between everyone. You got women who will just kind of go around with anyone, men who will just try and go around with anyone, and this little bit in the middle, they're trying to find someone who's not a dickhead.
Okay. Well, let's define real quick, because we know what the asshole jerk guy is, right? Or as the internet defines it. But what is a nice guy? I have my definition, but you go first. What is the definition, in your opinion, of a nice guy?
Okay, so I've made a video about this recently, actually. A nice guy is someone who is actually nice. Anyone who claims to be a nice guy and isn't is actually a manipulator. Okay. It's literally that simple. And the reason why I don't like the kind of phrase, he's pretended he was a nice guy. Yeah, he's pretended. You're getting it right. Nice guys aren't really nice guys. No, they are. You've just fallen in with the manipulator. Now, let's flip it around. When a woman pretends to be a nice woman and manipulates you and isn't a nice woman, do we refer to them as a nice woman? Or do we refer to them as something else?
Yeah, we've never paired those two words ever.
Yeah.
Nice woman. She's a nice woman. Maybe if she was ugly. I don't know. She's a nice woman. I don't know.
You won't have someone going, if she seems like a nice woman, she isn't. You won't hear that TikTok. It will never happen.
You won't.
Because this nice guy belittling shit out of men kind of narrative is just carrying on going. So even if you're nice, you're still a prick. So there's no winning for men. They're like, well, I'm a nice guy, but they're slating me off, so I'm not really going to make much of an effort. So in my definition, a nice guy is a nice guy. Someone who pretends to be a nice guy is a manipulator. A nice woman is a nice woman. A woman who pretends to be a nice woman is a manipulator. And that's the way I view it.
Okay. My opinion, I guess again, I really haven't given it much thought, but this is what I think of a nice guy. A nice guy is someone who genuinely is a good dude. He's not aggressive with his approach or his game. He maybe comes off as a pushover, and he comes off maybe needy, like he wants a girl. And maybe he's a little too old fashioned where like there's flowers and he's not like being a little aggressive with his game. I know that's kind of a horrible definition, but somebody I'm trying to describe somebody that like he was too nice. You know, he was just too friendly, all these other things. I think that's what I've seen. Now, the rebuttal I meant when I got divorced in 2016.
I lost you.
You lost me? Okay, I'll wait. Are you good?
You still there?
I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, it went on pause for a second.
Yeah, okay, I'll start over. What's the last thing you heard?
Nice guys can come across too needy, and then a woman says he was too nice.
Yes. Okay. I'll start. I'll go right there. So when I started dating in 2016, I wasn't nice. I've always told everybody I'm a good friend. I'm an asshole, but I'm not a fucking asshole. Is what I always tell everybody, which is the truth. But I noticed like I had more success with women when I was focused with myself. Like in other words, I had a YouTube channel I was working on. I was a movie critic. I love my career. I love what I was doing. And I was just excited about life in front of me because I just got divorced. And I was just happy. So I was just happy with what I had going on. And I wasn't needy. And every date when I went out with everybody, I told them, look, I'm just looking for a good time. I just got divorced. I've been with the same woman 20 years. I just want to have some fun and figure out who Rudy is because I've never been an single adult out here.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing. And I just was that's me. I came first is what I'm trying to say. And for whatever reason that worked. They were attracted to that because I guess I wasn't needy and that's what worked for me. So does that make me a nice guy? No. Does it make me an asshole? I guess not. But that's what the key for my success was when I was dating. It's just like, wow, this guy, he's not needy. What's up? Maybe I can change him. And it all went from there.
There's always the joke is a happy man is some.
See, what?
I'm trying to get it out because from years ago. A man who's happy within his own life is ready for a woman to come and change it. Is a phrase that I've seen quite a while ago. But it's when you're self-confident and stuff like that, and you're living life on your own, and people see it, you're gonna get attention. But a lot of people, especially in this day and age now, it's what kind of world that we live in. Most people are indoors all the time. Most people working from home. Most people don't go out and do hobbies. Everything's all technological. So a lot of their dating is coming from apps, which I'll be honest, I fucking despise.
How long have you been dating? Are you single right now? If you don't mind me asking. No,
not single.
Okay.
I was single for 4 years by choice.
Okay.
I wanted to heal. I was quite sensible with that. I was like, someone's put me in a really difficult position. I want to sort my life out. I had to get the house. I had to restock everything. I had to kind of get money together. I had to fight for my kids, and I had to focus mainly on myself and how I view relationships and what I will and won't accept. During the course of the time, I had plenty of people offering. I had plenty of people being angry with me because I didn't want to be in a relationship with them, which was weird. Women rejection, that was unexpected, and then someone just out of potluck, I saw someone that was a friend of a friend, and I was like, she's pretty, so I sent her a polite, and I never dropped DM'd someone with intent to kind of like to date or anything like that. I've DM'd people to say, are you okay? Your content or your tweets are a little bit weird. Is everything all right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've never dropped a DM to someone with like intent for like, you're cute, and she hot.
Nice.
And then she just happened to be really fucking awesome. Had one date, awesome. Second date, awesome. And then I was like, no. This is what I didn't plan. And then she just kept being awesome. And then I was like, shit. So it's been 2.5 years now.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, man.
That's really good.
dating apps, just I wouldn't touch them. It's I'm not a fan.
Like I said, I was with the same woman 20 years. So when I went on dating, I hadn't dated since the 90s. So the 90s, you had to approach women, you had to have game and, court them, dance with them, then take them on a date the following week. It was a long process. And I remember I felt dating apps, because again, I wasn't looking for anything serious. I felt it just made things way too easy. Like just finding people, and they were like products really. And one thing I hated the most was my first impression being a text. I preferred, walking up to somebody, shaking their hand, and, introducing myself versus a text. And I remember a lot of women just dismissing me because of my text. So I'm like, man, this is so informal and so impersonal. I just don't like it. So I eventually grew to enjoy it. That's how I met my fiance right now. So eventually it all worked out.
You had success. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just happened, but I'm grateful it did, man. But yeah, it's insane. So yeah, nice guys I guess they do finish last. I guess confidence and self-love kind of go a long way in that space. I mean, but I'm glad it worked out for you. I mean, especially you got the polar opposite of what you experienced, and I'm glad it worked out for you, because we're both nice guys, aren't we, Matt?
Yes. I just don't tell anyone that I am, because they'll turn around and go, yeah, okay, yeah. You can be. I'm a nice guy, and all my friends, as long as my friends and my family know that I am, I don't give a monkeys about anyone else.
I agree.
So got nothing to prove. So if someone says, you call yourself a nice guy, yes, I do. It's not your problem, though. So fuck off.
I think that's a perfect way to end the podcast. So, Matt, this was a pleasure, man. Again, I know we've exchanged messages left and right for the past year or so, but it was a pleasure kind of having a drink with you and having this discussion with you, man. This was awesome.
It's been fun. It's the first social interaction I've properly had for about a month and a half, so I've enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So although it is like 1 o'clock in the morning here. Like,
I know. I'm sorry, keeping you up. Where can people find you on all your media outlets?
Everything's Matuli. So I think the account, I don't think you follow me back on it yet at the moment, but my normal Matuli account, which I got back, is back, and Matuli 4.
Okay.
But everywhere else, Twitter, even Xbox, Matuli.
Hey.
Instagram, Matuli_IG. That's the only one that differs. There we go.
Awesome.
So all the same stuff.
All right. Well, my friend, this was a pleasure. I know it's late, and I'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Squire. I shall speak to you soon.
Bye.